All right, still with us, we have federal executive clemency attorney Tammy Allison, as well as celebrity divorce attorney Carlos Lostra joining us. Tammy, first of all, how unusual is it to see something like this, where you have a confession and then later on the suspect, one of the suspects, I should say, claims he's not guilty, and then there's a trial?
You know, it's not as unusual as we would think, especially in the criminal justice system. A lot of times we see people say that they give false confessions, given the fact that they were under duress or were pressured into giving that confession. So it's not that unusual. I do think it's unusual, just all of the moving parts going on in this case and all of the suspects that are involved.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking about a case where there's no body, no known cause of death. Carlos, how hard is it for prosecutors to meet their burden of proof in a case like this?
Well, it's the highest burden of proof that exists in our law. It's beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt, which means if a jury has any doubt that is rational, that there is, in other words, there's reason behind it, they have to acquit. But what I really took away from this case, which was very interesting, which enabled it to move forward, is the advent of technology, the use of DNA evidence, which frankly didn't exist 30 years ago. When I first started practicing law as a criminal defense attorney, there wasn't DNA. Now we have touch DNA. And echoing what Tammy said earlier in the earlier segment about young lawyers, it's about, as a lawyer, you've got to know the technology. You've got to know what's in smartphones nowadays, digital forensic evidence. We have to keep up with all the new technology. And that's what blew up this case, is the new technology that wasn't in existence 30 years ago when this crime occurred.
Yeah, and so this did go unsolved for some 17 years. Tammy, do you think that's really the reason why, because of a lack of technology at the time?
You know, I think in part, yes, a lack of technology, because, we have cell phone towers that can pin people where they are to compare with any alibi they may give compared to where the cell phone is or was not at. So that is part of it. But I think in this situation, given the fact there was no body, she was missing for so long, there was an affair, there's somebody else with the last name Duke that's not related to Ryan Duke, and there's a burned body. There's just so much going on that's at play here that I think that may have something to do with what has taken so long.
All right, Tammy Allison, Carlos Lostra, thank you so much for your insight. Coming up next in our Talkback segment, going back to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case, Heard was awarded $2 million because of Adam Waldman's statements. That was Depp's attorney. Was that the right call by the jury? We want to know, what do you think? We're going to share some of your comments ahead right here on Court TV Live.
Well, we'll start with that breaking news out of the United States. There has been a verdict in a trial watched by millions around the world.
Johnny Depp has won his defamation case against his ex-wife, the actor Amber Heard. The jury awarded the Pirates of the Caribbean star $15 million in damages.
Just in the last hour, Johnny Depp's lawyers have been vindicated in their case here across 6 weeks of evidence in Fairfax County, west of Washington, D.C. The jury has returned after almost 13 hours deliberations and gone through every question they were required to answer.
Just came down seconds ago, but I think that the sense in the air among maybe most people was that Johnny Depp was going to be victorious. Social media connected to Los Angeles has been pushing that way in a massive way.
So Steve, you've been covering this entire trial for us over the past few weeks. Can you take us through the verdict?
Well, Andrew, this was basically a he said, she said trial. We said that all along. And in the end, the jury said they believed what he said, what Johnny Depp said.
The reaction outside court was quite something. You have a lot of Johnny Depp supporters out here. They've been here for the 6-week trial. It has overwhelmingly been in support of him, and they started shouting and yelling and cheering and shouting, Johnny, Johnny, Johnny.
And now.
As to this statement, appearing in the April 27th, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt did not do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight, under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin in for Michael Ayala tonight, and it's time for today's Talkback segment. Each day we post a question on Court TV's social media pages, and we gather your comments. We respond here on Court TV Live. Well, yesterday, a jury in Fairfax, Virginia announced a big win for Johnny Depp. He was awarded $15 million in damages, while Amber Heard was awarded $2 million because of a defamatory statement made by Depp's former attorney, Adam Waldman. So we asked you, was this the right call by the jury? Well, still with us, federal executive clemency attorney Tammy Allison, as well as celebrity defense attorney Carlos Lastra joining us. Okay, so I want to share this first comment from a viewer named Mary Ann, and she says, I was confused by that award. Why would JD be liable for something his attorney said? Tammy, what do you think?
Shenanigans, pure shenanigans. Listen, that's not how that works. So Johnny Depp's team needs to be looking at an appeal too. This just goes right back to what I said before. If the jury cannot fill out the paperwork the right way, how do we know that they read and understood the jury instructions? Because that's not how defamation works.
Carlos, what do you think?
Well, remember, I found this particularly interesting. Remember what happened in this particular case. There was a hearing before the judge on the issue of the jury instructions, the pre-charge hearing, and that's when she said, the judge decided that under Virginia law, that Adam Waldman could be treated as an agent of Johnny Depp. And the issue here, and I think what really weighed in favor of that, is that the Daily Mail, where the article appeared, said Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's lawyer, blah, 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 and then you heard the rest of the statement that you just reviewed. And as a result, that's why the jury reached their decision.
All right, well, you know, we have another comment that we want to share from a viewer named Patty, who says, that should have been a separate lawsuit between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's former attorney. Do you agree with that? And could it be a separate lawsuit even going forward? Tammy.
Patty, yes. I'm clapping with you, Patty Cakes, okay? Yes.
What do you think, Carlos?
Spot on, Patty. In fact, that's what I would have done. As a plaintiff's lawyer looking at this case, the perfect scenario you want is to have two defendants, Johnny Depp on one side, Adam Waldman on the other, and have them duke it out to see who's responsible for this particular statement. Would have been a perfect scenario, but unfortunately, that's not the way it was played out during this countersuit.
And Tammy, is it too late for that to happen? Can that still happen going forward?
You know, the Commonwealth is a funny state, okay? They have those Commonwealth rules over there. And it could, but who knows, Who knows? At this point, we've seen a lot of surprise in this case, though.
Absolutely.
Nothing will shock me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually got to hear from Adam Waldman talking about this statement. Let's listen to that.
I'm going to direct your attention, Mr. Waldman, to the next statement. Quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first attempt didn't do the trick. The officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and a publicist, and then placed a second call to 911. Do you see that statement?
I do.
Did you make those statements?
There are two parts to what you've shown me. The first part didn't have quotation marks around it.
And I'm not asking about that. I'm sorry.
Where it said nothing could be considered credible, that's not quoting me. The part with the quote marks, I believe I said that, yes.
So Carlos, I mean, he owned up to it. So with him owning up to it, I mean, that obviously there's no question about whether he made the statement something that the jury found was in fact defamatory, but where do you think the issue is? Is it with the malice element linking it back to Depp?
Arguably, it could be. I think going back to my earlier statements about the compensatory damages, issue. I think that the jury just decided the case the way they wanted to, and found that in this particular situation that Johnny had made the choice to retaliate, and he did it through his lawyer, and that's why ultimately they found that Amber should be awarded $2 million. But I think the bigger question and the message the jury sent out was to the punitive damages, where they basically said, Amber, you really crossed the line, and as a result, we're going to award Johnny Depp $5 million in punitive damages. Of course, that's going to be reduced pursuant to, as Tammy said, the Commonwealth's law to $350,000, and they did zero for Johnny. So that was an indication of what they felt where the fault was. But it seemed like they felt that that was defamatory enough.
Yeah, you know what? One of our viewers, Preston, actually thinks that the jury did make the right call on this one. It says, I think so. Depp's team did not prove that Amber's friends were a part of Amber's conspiracy. Does he have a point, Tammy, real quick?
I don't think so. This is about domestic violence, and if the statements made by either party damage their career.
All right, thanks so much, Tammy Allison and Carlos Lastra, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Tammy.
Much more ahead right here on Court TV Live.